Hello and welcome back to Rimworld. This is the continuing tale of three friends controlling a family apiece and their attempts to survive and prosper in a harsh, unforgiving wilderness. It's a bit like a battle royale where you don't actually kill your enemies but just wait for them to die, like rivals in a retirement home. In last episode, we mostly saw our families getting established and having mental breakdowns, but with the walls finally up and clean water nearly readily available, I think moods will be much improved this time round. So let's get into it. The first thing we notice is that there are weapons on the material shelves in the workshop, which is just all wrong. We all blame Milky and get reorganising as Steve has a mental break. Come on, Stephen, you're making me look stupid. Anyway, Stephen psychotic wanders while Smoke and Baby does some remodelling to make better use of the space in the metal family house. Over in the Oxbridge house, the bathroom has nearly been fully plumbed, so I finally pull a trigger on building a hospital. Elsewhere, some Simthread, a valuable crafting material, falls from the sky, so we send Mila past some sleeping dinosaurs to gather it. During this mission, we notice that a velociraptor is missing a tail and is bleeding to death after having a fight with, what I can only imagine, was the most badass raccoon ever. This inspiring tale of raccoon bravery seems to shake Stephen out of his psychotic state, and I swiftly restrict him to the compound in an attempt to prevent, or at least delay, his next episode. Will it work? Probably not. We don't have many of the things to try, and we're all getting pretty sick of his shit. Our research project gets finished, and it turns out that Bad Luck has sneakily changed it to obelisks while we weren't paying attention. Just listen to how happy he is that we didn't notice.
Yay!
I just can't stay mad at him. Smoke and Baby puts forward penoxycycline as our next research project to help guard against some highly uncommon diseases. Me and Bad Luck aren't really keen on this, but we can't offer a better option, so penoxycycline it is. We're low on steel, so send Viper out to do some mining, and Kim finally breaks and starts hurling insults at people, particularly at Mila. Eventually Mila has enough of this and takes a swing at Kim, which is fair enough. It ends as quickly as it started, and neither is particularly hurt, but I can't help but think it's just more bad blood between the families. Perhaps jealous that he's the only Oxbridge not to be crazy this week, Squint has a breakdown and wanders around in a daze. It feels like longer, but I realise it's only been 6 in-game days since Farouk was killed, so it must be pretty raw for the Oxbridges. Even so, I've lost track of how many tantrums and sad wanders they've had, and I'm getting pretty annoyed that it's become my family's defining characteristic. Suddenly, a man-hunting pack of Boomalope appear, making Alec have to race to get the fence finished. Boomalope are basically space antelope that explode in a fireball when they die, so obviously this ruins all of Alec's hard work, but at least no one gets eaten. We notice during this time that a Stegosaurus has been killed by the wild T-Rex that lives near our base. We're all sad that we missed this epic battle, even though in reality, this clash of titans was just two 2D images bumping into each other.
Grr. Arg.
But you gotta get your kicks where you can. Cohen's had enough and starts throwing insults around like confetti. He decides to target his brother, Alec, following him around and being mean until Alec breaks down and hides in his room. This doesn't deter Cohen, and he follows Alec, viciously insulting him all the while. There's no sport in taunting a broken man though, so Cohen quickly decides to move on and yell at Viper, who's still mining nearby. After 6 hours of being viciously insulted, Viper finally has enough and arrests Cohen, and is about to walk away when he has a Columbo moment and realises that he forgot to beat Cohen to death. Luckily Jason's on hand to prevent things from going too far. Later on, Jason and Mila are getting intimate when Kim bursts into the room to clean up a precariously placed bedpan. This raises several questions, none of which I want to know the answers to, and I think Kim should learn to knock. Getting back to the poor mental health of our colonists, it's time for another game of Who's Crazy Now? And it's a double nut around with, you guessed it, Stephen and Cohen. As Stephen throws a tantrum, getting himself arrested, and Cohen, who, fresh from prison, goes berserk and chases Samantha around before being knocked out by a muffalo. You just couldn't write it, folks. But finally, the majority of colonists are in a good mood and some work actually gets done. Look at the hospital being floored. Lovely. Suddenly, a warg decides it wants to eat Cohen, and we realise we've still not repaired the fence from the Boomalope incident. As we scramble to eliminate this threat, McIntyre unknowingly runs into Kim's firing line just as she's about to pull the trigger, and he accidentally takes a bullet for the warg. Luckily it's only a flesh wound, and we take down the warg without any further problems. A little later, Kim patches up McIntyre by way of apology, and we notice that Samantha's got inspired creativity, meaning that she's really in the mood to do some art. This is strange, as Samantha hates doing art, and yet is reasonably passionate about it. We're not really sure how this contradiction will work out in practice, but we decided to force her to make some art anyway. And as we're drawing to the end of this episode, I'll leave you with its description. So here it is, the first piece of art made in our colony. This work bears the portrayal of Papa Squint Oxbridge, stumbling around with a completely broken expression on his face. Others offer sympathy. He is laughing in the depths of his depression. This representation refers to Squint giving up in despair on the 5th of Jungus, 5500. Of course that's what it is. What else would it be? Anyway, thank you to Bad Luck and Smoking Baby for letting me record them, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.